just got chills. So concerned for Darby. Jaw drop. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooklyn. Over on my TikTok, I do a little series called 25 for 2025 where I try to complete my 25 books that I picked for 2025. It's very straightforward. So last episode I ended up pulling No Exit by Taylor Adams, and this book also has, I either think it's a movie or TV show on Hulu that correlates with it, so I thought it'd be fun if I do a little reading vlog of me reading it. I've been really wanting to read this. I saw this on a YouTube video one time, or like a review for it, and they said that it was really good and they really enjoyed it. It's a fast-paced mystery thriller. From what I know, it follows this girl who gets stuck at like a rest stop. So she waits at a highway rest stop with no cell phone reception. Inside are some vending machines, coffee maker, and 4 complete strangers desperate to find a signal to call home. She makes a horrifying discovery. In the back of a van parked next to her car is a little girl locked in an animal crate. Who is the child? Why has she been taken? And how can Darby save her? Darby is the FMC for this book. There's no way to call for help and no way out. One of her fellow travelers is a kidnapper, but which one? Trapped in an increasingly dangerous situation on the edge of civilization with a child's life and her own life on the line, Darby must find a way to break the girl out of the van and escape, but who can she trust? I'm hoping that this is going to be more fast paced because I'm sure this is only going to span for like a day or a couple days. Just the close proximity of having all these people be in the rest stop at once and one of them being the potential bad person is so interesting to me. So I'm so excited to read this. It is shorter, obviously. It's 330 pages, but I'm hoping, like I said, it'll be fast paced. So I just wanted to intro this video and I thought why not make it into a little who did it better, because I haven't filmed one since summer and I really want to do that again. I am finally getting around to reading No Exit by Taylor Adams. I've been very busy reading other books this last week, so I've put this one off for quite some time. I'm gonna try and binge it tonight. It's currently 6:05, so I'm going to read this until I go to bed. I am very excited to start it and see how this one goes or how it reads and stuff. So I will let you guys know pacing of it, thoughts and opinions, and just like general information of it. This is getting me excited for the winter time, even though I've been freezing nonstop. The weather is really getting me. Anyways, random tangent, but I am now gonna start. Ben, you can't be on the bed. Come here. Come down here. Come on, baby. What are you biting me for? What are you biting me for? You've gone crazy. He's gone insane. Ow, Ben. What are you biting me for? No. Ben. Ben, this isn't like you. Oh my goodness. He's parkouring off my leg. Oh, Ben, stop. Enough. No more. No. Back up. Ugh. Sit. Yeah, that's what I thought. This book is actually insane. I made it to page 103, 1:55 p.m. in the story. We started it, what time was it when we started it? 5:19 p.m. So we've been in this rest stop for a little bit and we've learned more about the characters. There are 4 other people with what's her name? There's 4 other people with Darby at this rest stop, and we learn a little bit about each of them. So there's Ed and Sandy, they're cousins, and then we have Lars, who's like this random guy, and then Ashley, who is another like college student. He's younger like Darby, and so we're stuck with these people in here, and we follow Darby, who's our main character. She is driving to see her mom, who has cancer, and she was driving from Colorado to Utah. She's a college student, and she finds this van parked in the rest stop with a child locked in the back. So we found out more about the child, and I'm actually very surprised with the pacing of this story, because how I thought this would go is that we wouldn't figure out who was the owner of the van until the very end, but we find that out right away. So it's very suspenseful because we're following Darby and like her thought process of how she wants to go about unveiling it to the other people in the rest stop who's with her, and kind of like her action plan of how to go about the situation to save the child in the back of the van, and then also like stop the person who did this. She's like investigating outside and stuff, and it's like late, and I pictured like this dark snowy like vibe. I can see it so clearly. I am like so freaked out, and I'm listening to this one playlist. It's actually like pretty good. I'll show it on here, but it's also will be on my Goodreads. I link every playlist that I listen to for books on my Goodread reviews for the books. Certain songs kind of make it feel more eerie, and just I don't know, I'm very like, I feel very tense right now, but also like I have anxiety a little with this book. So I'm really enjoying it. I like the writing style of this. I think the pacing's really interesting. I still don't know how the story's going to pan out, or how the big reveal is going to happen, or what's going to go down, but I'm very curious to keep reading. Like I said, very fast-paced read. It's currently, I think, almost 10. It's almost 10 o'clock. I want to probably read this for like another hour and see how far I get into this, or maybe I will binge it into the night, because I do want to read this and see how far I get. I wonder if there's gonna be like a big plot twist at the end of this book, because I feel like everything that's happened has been very straightforward and too easy. So I don't know, I'm very stressed but also excited to keep reading. I just want to give you guys an update because I made it to page 100, and I feel like I'll be able to get pretty far into this book, because like the chapter lengths are like long enough to where you get enough information, but I also feel like not to the point where it's like dragging on and you feel kind of bored in the chapters. I will say like I'm not really paying attention to the time slots that are mentioned every chapter. Like I'm aware of them, but I'm not like keeping track of it in my mind. On the back here says 13 hours, so that's the length that will be there. The snow blizzard also is getting worse and worse, so we're like really stuck here. I don't know, everything's like really eerie, and the station that they're stuck at is called like Big Devil or something. There's like some full name for it, but like the translated name for it is Big Devil, so it's just like everything adds up, and it's just really creepy. So I'm enjoying this. This is really good. So I will get back to you guys probably when I'm like at page 200. I feel like that's a decent check-in point. I'm very excited also to watch the show or the movie for this, because I'd love to see who they casted for characters and stuff, but that will be after we finish the book, obviously. So I'm gonna keep reading, and then I will check with you guys when I'm at page 200. Genuinely, I'm like tearing because sometimes books like this really make me not even anxious, but they just like unsettle me. And if this is like a plot twist that I'm reading right now, I'm on page 109, I am going to bawl my eyes out. So I think part of it's also like this playlist I have. I don't know how to describe this like genre of songs or music. They're just like really eerie. And this one, the lobotomy, creeps me out, but I'm gonna listen to it because it's like perfect for this. If you guys have seen Black Phone 2, I recently just saw that. Like that playlist or the music they had when there was like the flashbacks of the camp, that type of vibe would fit really good with this book. I don't know, I feel like just making it more heightened and intense. I've actually cried while reading like a suspense thriller before, and it was Verity by Colleen Hoover, and it was like one of the scenes was just like really unsettling. And I don't know if it was the music at the time, but like this music isn't the same vibe that I was listening to during Verity. This music's, like I said, unsettling, and what just happened is insane. I'm loving this. Like, This is insane. I don't know why these like thriller books have me feel this way. It's time for a chat. I think it's because I am so immersed in this world right now. I have like the chills. I'm on page 198. I'm gonna finish this book tonight. It's currently 12:10. Not really good for me because I wanted to get up early tomorrow morning. If you do not know, I live in Idaho, and what's funny is that a character in this book mentioned Rathdrum, Idaho, which is very close to where I'm at, and it's like a very small town. Like I feel like it's very niche. And then they also mentioned Spokane, which is in Washington. It's like 40 minutes from where I'm from. I thought that was just kind of funny. I'm like, what are the odds that this author writes a character from that area? You know what I mean? Like Idaho. Everyone always jokes like Idaho's like potatoes and all this stuff. It's not, obviously. I just thought that was really cool because you never really see that a lot in books. And if you ask someone, like, where's Rathdrum at? No one would really know. Because when I read that, I was like, is there another Rathdrum somewhere in the United States? And then it said Idaho. And I was like, oh. And then it said Spokane. I was like, oh, okay. Awesome. The twist in this book, jaw drop. There's also different point of views in this book, which I'm really liking because it's flowing very smoothly and it's jumping from one character to the next, which I like because it makes everything, you just kind of learn more about the characters and how it's like this cat and mouse between what's happening. Because as I mentioned, we learned very early on who the person was that owned the van that Darby looked in and found the girl in the cage. Seeing the perspective of the person who has the van, it's almost like unsettling because through Darby's point of view when she first got there, everyone acted a certain way, and then now when you're in that person's point of view, you can see kind of how they're thinking and why they do the things they do, or just kind of like how like cunning they're trying to be. And then my next point was that it's very cunning and layered. I think I really like the way it's written and just how there's so much more to the story, and it's, I don't even know how to like verbalize this right now, but while reading it, it feels there's just hidden meanings in everything, and it's like now I want to go back through the book and reread it and see where these like hidden clues and context clues were at, because it's insane how connected and intertwined everything is. I'm also really liking the characters, good or bad. I think they're unsettling in their own ways, and then I really like Darby as our FMC because she's not ditzy, but she's also kind of unprepared in a way, and she's doing her best to try and be successful in the situation that she's in. Just the tension and suspense of what's happening. There's so much more stuff that's unraveling, and I don't feel like it's out of left field. It just happens when the characters pick up on it or recognize it, and it's not something that's just like thrown in the plot line to make the story interesting. Like, this is very planned and plotted, which I like, especially because the plot twists are good. I'm gonna read this part because now I'm so concerned for Darby. I don't know why when I read thriller books I want to cry. Maybe it's my body's way of like reacting, and that's how I would react in situations like that, because I think it's the music adding to the tension in my body and like my brain and making the scene more heightened. Like, I don't know, I think it's the way my body wants to release the emotion of like, oh my gosh, my fear of it. I'm gonna keep reading. I'll check in close to being done so you can maybe read the last few pages together. I'm eating this up though. It is so good. Maybe I'm just like in the high of it. I'm gonna read this all in one sitting. Truly, I like go based off vibes. This is the best book like I've read in a little while in terms of excitement and energy and wanting to keep reading it. One thing that I really find interesting and like, but like don't like obviously, is that there's talk of like the witching hour, and if you know what that is, there's like this thing where basically people get weird or scary dreams or bad dreams during 3 a.m. and it's like the weird time of night where just crazy stuff happens. I hate talking about it because I just don't want to invite that vibe in my life, but in this book it's mentioned a lot, and obviously because they're stuck at this rest stop for 24 hours in this book, and obviously like the stuff that's happening, whoever takes and abducts kids, evil. Duh. We're at this like big climax point of the story almost, where the good versus evil is going to come in contact and like this big epic battle. And so it says like here, and the witching hour is approaching, the time of evil, of demonic entities, of crawling things that lived in the dark, just superstition. Crazy how like everything in the night's lining up to this moment of something that was talked about earlier in the book. So I feel like everything is foreshadowed in this book, or everything has like a certain meaning to it. Like I think this one item that Darby has is going to come in handy at the end of the book. I'm hoping it does, but I just feel like everything has a purpose. I just got chills. This is insane. I am sick of this character, truly. I am on page 316, and I think there's like 330, 3 something, so let's finish it together. That was the craziest book I've ever read. It's currently 1:10, so not bad at all. I thought like I would check my phone, it would be like 2 or 3 o'clock. So we finished this. I read this in one sitting. I started it roughly at 6, but then I picked it back up at 8. So it took me 5 hours to read. Not too bad. This book was insane. I think I'm gonna do my Goodreads review and my rating, and then I'll come back with like a full review where it's not 1 in the morning. I didn't expect this book to be that good. I am very excited now to watch the show, only because I think with books and movies or like TV shows, I've said this in my first episode when I did this video in the summer, that it's hard for movies to execute books well, especially if the book is amazing, because we get the inside thoughts of characters and it's hard to express that or show that through film. A lot of that is heavily relied on either writing for the script, set design, and how that feeds into kind of like telling the viewer what to look for and hints and stuff, and then I guess like camera and how the director directs the movie or TV show and the camera angles they use and the shots that they use specifically, and that kind of gives us as viewers hints and stuff. I like kind of nerd out on that stuff. I did take like a semester of cinematography in college and classes related to that stuff, so I do love film and movies and stuff, so I'm very excited to see how they do this, especially with a thriller. I'm gonna quit rambling. I'm gonna go to bed. That was really fun. I'll speak to you guys tomorrow, and then we'll also watch a movie, which I'm very excited for. Okay guys, I have a final wrap up for you. I ended up rating this book 5 stars. This was probably one of my favorite thrillers I've ever read, and I will probably reread it next year, more around wintertime, because the book takes place during December, around like Christmas Eve. That'd be like the perfect time for it. But anyways, I really enjoyed reading this one. I loved it. I talked a lot about it last night too, so I don't want to like restate everything I said. The plot and the pacing was amazing in this story. I thought everything was very cohesive. Everything had purpose in the story. There was not like one detail that didn't have some sort of importance later on in the story, which I loved. The writing was also very simple, but it was also fast paced. The amount of plot twists were also insane. They were very methodical and planned out, and everything, like I said, has a purpose and meant something, and that the plot twists I feel like were there in plain sight. You just kind of had to be more aware of them, and once you were, you were like, oh, I get it now. And the characters were also all amazing. Good or bad, I think they have so much depth to them and layers that when you got switched into their point of views and you learn more about their past or how they thought or their just overall view of life, it was very kind of eerie. Our bad guy in the story I really loved. I did look at some Goodreads reviews saying that the villain in the story was just kind of was almost cringe and that they were over dramatic. Made sense in the story and made sense for the character. I don't think they were over dramatic in any way. I think it added to like the chilling aspect of this story because they're just so unhinged and you didn't know what the person's next move was. So I think that's what also made this very suspenseful. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this one. I don't read thrillers that often, but this is one I'm definitely gonna be recommending to people and thinking about way after I read this. I'm still thinking about it and I'm very excited now to watch the movie. I have not looked at any of the casting for this. I'm gonna wait till I actually plan to watch it later tonight. The ending, like I said last night, got very graphic or gory or just more intense, so I'm very curious to see how they do all that, and just like watching it is gonna be, I will check with you guys before I start the movie. Hi guys, so it is a little later in the day and I wanted to come on my computer and look up the cast for this movie and compare how they're described in the book to the movie. I'm gonna go downstairs, I'm gonna have some dinner, and then I'm gonna watch the movie with my mom because I mentioned it to her, and I am very nervous to watch it because I don't want this to ruin the image that I have of it in my mind, and I love the story a lot. Like the more I sit with it, I enjoy it so much. I also have no idea who I would cast for the people in it. Let's see who they have. So it's rated 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 62% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's on Hulu. If you guys have Hulu too, you guys can watch it on there. Okay, I kind of love the cast. Is this the guy that's gonna play Xaden for... Oh, this guy played in Top Gun Maverick, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He was in The Last of Us? Wait, where is he in The Last of Us? Okay, wait, I love this guy. I like just recognize him. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love him as an actor. Ooh, wait, I'm actually really excited now. This is making me so excited. I like who they've casted for everyone, but I will come back to you guys after I finish the movie with some thoughts and opinions about it and how they compare and who did it better. I finished watching No Exit last night with my mom, and I have many thoughts and opinions the whole time watching the movie. Obviously, because my mom never read the book and I didn't really tell her anything while I was reading. I was just telling her like my excitement while reading, saying like, oh my gosh, this is insane. So while watching the movie, immediately right off the bat, I'm gonna just say this because I feel like this is a big point of the story. Darby in No Exit, she is a college student. She's an art student as well at CU Boulder. She has no like drug related issues and her mom has pancreatic cancer. So in the movie, they change that completely. They make Darby like a drug addict or someone who's trying to recover from being addicted to drugs. And then her mom had like a brain aneurysm and no cancer. So that changed a lot of the plot. I think they spent probably 10 to 15 minutes of the first like part of the movie setting up that plot line of her being in like a rehabilitation center and trying to escape and contact her family. Whereas in the book, it just starts with her driving right away, talking about like her beat up car and how she's like kind of in these like inner struggles between her relationship with her and her mom. They didn't really touch on that either in the movie. I just don't like how they painted Darby to be like this character, especially because they wasted so much of the plot or like time in the movie on that beginning like sequence. As for the entire movie, they completely changed it from the book. So if you're going into this movie thinking you're gonna like it because you like the book, don't even try to watch it, truly. I probably should ask my mom this. I never really got around to it. I think she liked the movie. I heard her reactions while everything was happening. She was shocked by it. I think it's a good kind of like standalone thriller movie, but if you read the book, it is definitely a hard watch because how much they change it. They do not follow anything in the script. I think there's almost like a lack of dialogue, but as I mentioned before, because there's a lack of ability to show like inner monologue because that relies so heavily on flashbacks or hints through set design or what people say, it's hard to sometimes portray what the actors are thinking or feeling in certain scenes. So it was just very quick. I feel like the movie happened very fast and obviously a lot happens in the book. So I think trying to fit all of that in like an hour and 30 minutes is how long the movie was kind of a challenge, but they also wasted the first half of it, having her being at the rehabilitation center, which did not like that. So I think they could have gone about it better. I like the casting initially, but they changed the characters and their relationships in the book. And if you know what I'm talking about, they just kind of like completely changed that in the movie. They changed their background stories and just who they are as people, which I think also wasn't the best thing to do. I don't know why they couldn't follow the book. It's not even like a book adaptation at this point. It's more of like inspiration because they changed such vital points too of the story in terms of the setting and location of where they're stuck at in different entry points in the building. That's like the best I could say without giving anything away. The movie just completely changed it. Also in terms of like the child who's in the back of the van, changed their character too and made them like more whiny. And in the book, I actually enjoyed reading from the point of view and seeing the kid in scenes. They made the kid seem very bratty in the movie compared to the book where like obviously going through something very traumatizing, but they're also very strong. There's a detail of the van and then in the movie it was just like a plain van. Obviously like I'm sure there's like probably copyright things that they can't do exactly. But if I were Taylor Adams, I would be so disappointed in the movie because I don't know, the pacing of it was so bad. They left out very key details. There's like stuff that happens like on napkins. I'm gonna try to be as vague as I can. Did not incorporate that in the movie at all. And I think that was very important and shifted scenes very easily and made them more tense. That didn't happen. I think they changed the characters of everyone else too. And I also pictured, and this is what I like too about movies and seeing how people, it's not even maybe how they perceive it because it's also probably budgeting as well. I pictured the rest stop. I don't know if it's also what's local to my area or like rest stops stops I've been to, but I feel like they're smaller and this one was very large. I pictured like the rest stop. I think I might draw a picture of this and just put it on the screen of how I envisioned it, because the rest stop was very small and then there were bathrooms in the rest stop, but I picture them just like right by the door. And then the parking lot I was kind of confused about, but I think it's further down from the rest stop. So it's like a longer, because you know how rest stops sometimes are like really long. And then there was also the mountain that was talked about in the book, which is also a very key detail for one point, and no mention of that. There's just no development of the story of like the main point that we were trying to get to. Even items in the book that are very important, I guess, to certain characters, how they were introduced in the movie was completely different from the book, and the way they were introduced in the book was a very important detail too. So I don't know, I did not really enjoy the movie and watching the whole time. I was just trying to be quiet so I could let my mom enjoy it and not try and be like, well, they did this differently and blah blah blah, and actually. So I didn't want to do that the whole time while watching it, but at one point I had to let it all out. At the end of the movie I was like, oh my gosh, they did this and this different, and it wasn't good. The acting I thought was really good. I liked the actors. If I went into it not knowing the book, I would have enjoyed it, but because I read the book, the movie just does not even hold a seat at the table. Is that even the right saying for that? Like, what could be the saying for that? Doesn't even have a place at the table. Hold a candle to it. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of like sayings for it, but it's just not good. So the winner for this, who did it better? Book versus movie. The book is the winner. If you guys choose to do anything between the two, I wouldn't really waste your time watching the movie, because you will be so disappointed if you like the book, because they change everything so much and it's just not even the same suspenseful feeling because it's so fast paced. So the winner for this video is definitely the book. So yeah, those are all of my thoughts and opinions on No Exit by Taylor Adams. Who did it better, book versus movie? I love the book. I cannot explain how much I really enjoyed this one, and I'm still thinking about it, and it's been a couple days since I finished it. I think it's because I could see everything so clearly in my mind, and just the way everything unraveled was just truly beautiful and insane at the same time. I also found like what the genre of music is that I listen to, and I really want to tell you guys this point, because when I'm reading mystery thriller books, I always struggle with finding playlists because they're always just like classical music, and I don't feel like that vibe fits this book. It's all to your own like personal taste and feeling, even if you read with music. So one of the artists that I had a lot on the playlist that I found was Pastel Ghost, like dark beach, embrace, shadows, clouds, that type of vibe of music. I'm just gonna play like some of it. Like that kind of like techno electronic ambient sound is what I listen to a lot for this, like this song. Or Snowfall. I feel like Snowfall is very popular for like study playlists. This guy, One Heart, you can't really see it on my thing, but his stuff is just so winter vibe and esque to me. That type of music fits so well with the book and not the classical stuff, because the classical I feel like makes me really tired and bored of the book because it makes it just feel like a normal mystery, and this is more suspenseful thriller. And I think that type of music played well with the characters and who they were and how they acted, as well as the pacing and like suspensefulness of this. Obviously the playlist that I found was called Cold Winter Nights, so that's the one I use. On here has like two little cats on it from Kiki. I really just want to make that point because I love listening to music while reading books, and I feel like that played such a major component to the story. I took one screenwriting class in college, like kind of like 1.5, and I'm like about to write my own script for this book because I don't know how they messed it up so bad. And then I was looking at reviews online about the movie, and people who haven't read the book said they really loved the movie and that the director did such an amazing job. So I was just like, you know what, to each their own. And I guess it's just how you go about the order of it, but the book is by far better. So that is all I have to say. My final thoughts and feelings on the book and the movie. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really enjoyed this one, and I'm very excited to read more books to movies adaptations or book to TV shows. Let me know if you guys have read No Exit, if you are now interested maybe in reading No Exit. I would highly recommend it, especially during the winter months. That's like the perfect time to do it. That is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.